This is certainly a very exciting day for me. It's an important one for our community and hopefully a day of resolution and satisfaction for those Vietnam veterans around us. Can I give you just a little history as I remembered it? All the way with LBJ was the catchphrase of the government at the time as we joined USA in this unfortunate conflict which we were destined to lose. We experienced the introduction of compulsory national service using a lottery system, and our young men, those whose birth dates popped out of the barrel, headed off for 2 years of military service. Then a fair percentage of these went on to serve in Vietnam. Many of these young men returned home to a very different Australia. Our country became deeply divided over the political aspects of its involvement in Vietnam, and many of the people, and for that matter politicians also, turned their backs on those young and emotionally bewildered young men who had fought so bravely in pretty terrible conditions for their country. The recent memorial celebrations around the country relating to Vietnam and its wonderful veterans, many of these are still battling with the fallout of the conflict, gave an opening for the Wynyard community to better acknowledge its appreciation and understanding to their sacrifice and to respect their traumatic experiences both overseas and on arrival back home. After some initial inquiry and following numerous discussions and many hours of planning with Trevor Dunniam and Mike Willis, it was realised that the RSL was keen and ready to provide a suitable memorial to highlight these two local diggers who died in action and our Aussie men who fought around them. What followed included a significant financial contribution from the RACT and the Rotary Club of Wynyard, the generous support of the Federal Department of Veterans Affairs, and the positive and enthusiastic cooperation of the Wynyard RSL and the local Wynyard Council. And here we are, 50 years to the day since Francis died of his battle wounds, a memorial I consider to be worthy of these people. I'm just so proud of this moment, and I only hope that our local Vietnam veterans will be also.
I'd just like to take you back to a bloke called Barry Kelly. When the Welcome Home Parade was on in October 1987 in Sydney, the Australian newspaper put out a photo of all the blokes who were killed in Vietnam with a brief description of where they came from and how they died and things like that. We got a real shock when we realised Barry Kelly had been born and enlisted from Wynyard. We did a bit of research around the school, people the same age as what he would have went to school at, but no one can remember the poor bloke. Barry was born in Wynyard, enlisted as a regular soldier from Wynyard, but believed his mother may have moved to Hobart during his service in the army. Barry did his recruit training and then corps training with the Royal Australian Signals Corps before being posted to the 6th Battalion of the Royal Australian Regiment. He was attached to A Company 6 RAR for a period while training in Australia prior to service in South Vietnam. During Operation Tambourine on the 6th of February 1967, Barry was a radio operator with D Company 6 RAR, and they're the one that was engaged in the Battle of Long Tan, and they became engaged in heavy contact with a substantial enemy force. Artillery fire was called for to silence the enemy and to support the company, but 12 misdirected 105mm high explosive rounds fired by 161 Battery Royal New Zealand Regiment artillery pulling the company headquarters position. 4 diggers were killed with a further 13 soldiers wounded. Barry is buried at the Cornelian Bay Cemetery, Hobart. He was just 20 years old, and we claim him as one of our sons from Wynyard. If you look on the website, the casualties list, Barry Walter Kelly is shown with a big smile and an empty beer glass in company with other soldiers. Had a bit of a twinkle in his eye, but sadly his life was cut short. Many of you know Francis, and I see some of his former schoolmates are here today. Francis was born in Wynyard and went to the Wynyard State School before completing his education, and I might be repeating some of the stuff that Mike has said, but he Francis played a couple of seasons with the Wynyard Football Club's under-19s, as well as a few games with the Myala Football Club and the local Darwin Association. He also played cricket with the Railway in the Wynyard Cricket Association. I can remember him many times hitting me over the fence or around the paddock. Francis trained as an infantry soldier and was posted at 2nd Battalion Royal Australian Regiment, which went to Vietnam in May 1967. During the 1967, the commander of the 1st Australian Task Force decided against the advice of his battalion commanders and senior engineer officers to construct a barrier minefield to restrict the movement of enemy soldiers and local sympathisers between key towns and mountain hideouts. The minefield was 11 kilometres long, that's about here to Somerset, or a bit further, 11 kilometres long, several metres wide, and had barbed wire barricades on both sides. Thousands of anti-personnel M16 landmines were placed in the ground by Australian engineers. The M16 mine were better known as a jumping jack. They were the size of a jam tin with 3 prongs on top, and when activated, the initial charge lifts the mine to waist height before exploding a split second later. You can understand the mess or the likely outcome. Anywhere within 100 metres of that explosion, you're going to get wounded or killed or maimed. The barrier minefield worked for a while, but the enemy soon managed to safely remove them and use them to great effect against Allied forces. Large numbers of Australian soldiers were killed, severely wounded or maimed, or light by these weapons. The psychological pressure the diggers operated on has also played havoc with many soldiers' lives, even to this very day. Francis was involved in an M16 incident on the 30th of November 1967. He was evacuated to an American field hospital at Bung Tau, had an arm amputated, but sadly passed away from severe wounds on the 1st of December 1967, exactly 50 years ago today.
So let us now dedicate this stone to the memory of these two men, Private Barry Kelly and Private Francis Hyland, who died for their country and whose names are on this stone. For those whom we knew, those whose memory we honour, and who lived and died in service for our nation. As we sit or stand in silence before God, remembering these two who made the ultimate sacrifice, let us pray that God would give us grace to serve faithfully until our lives ends, to the glory and the honour of Almighty God's holy name.
So valiant hearts who to glory came, through dust of conflict and through battle flame, tranquil you lie, your knightly virtue proved, your memory hallowed in the land you loved. They shall grow not old, as we who are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
Thanks very much, Trevor. And on behalf of the Waratah Wynyard Council, I'll guarantee that we'll maintain this area and take care of this important addition to the monument area. And I'd like to thank the RSL Club and everyone involved in getting to where it is today in recognition of the of Francis. It's been long overdue, and I'm sure this will be a great addition to the memories of the family and friends of Francis. I can remember Francis myself. I can remember Francis a couple of years older at school. I can remember him at the primary school. Then I can remember him as a butcher at Hamilton's Butcher Shop up the top of Wynyard. And he's a great bloke. And then I can recall the turn of events, what happened. I can remember his girlfriend at the time, and I knew that family really well. And I know the impact that this has had on the family and friends. And 50 years time, here we are. We finally achieved what needed to be done, even though it took this long. Thanks very much to the RSL Club and the driving force behind what got it to where it is today. Thank you very much.
Great job.